I'm afraid that with the long-standing traditional crafts that we're going to see a decline in the motivation to pass those on to the next generation. What happens if the next generation says, I don't think I want to do that. I have other interests. What happens to a craft? It's gone.
It's the art of doll making, and its roots lie in a cultural exchange that took place between Native American and colonial children.
The Native American children taught the early settlers how to make dolls. It's difficult for children now to realize that during that time period there were no toys. The only thing they had were things they made at home.
As it's been done for generations, Smithfield resident Pam Earp fashions her dolls out of corn husks. But today, rather than having to wait for the corn to get ripe, she can shop at a nearby market.
I go to a Hispanic grocery store at a local open-air market, and I usually am able to pick out the ones that would work best for dolls. They have to have a special texture to them, and then you almost have to sniff them too because they've got to smell right.
Pam found her interest in doll making while on her honeymoon in 1978, when she stopped at a craft show in Boone.
And I watched a man make a doll, and I was fascinated. I really enjoyed watching him and working with a natural material. And I made a doll, and it was very traditional, very simple, and very ugly. It wasn't my style. I wanted to find my own way of making them and put my own creativity in it.
Nearly 30 years later, Pam sits around the table with her mother, daughter, and an apprentice, still creating, still upholding this unique tradition.
Most traditions pass from grandmother on down, a normal family tradition path. But ours is a little different. My daughter actually learned from me, and now my mother has started making things as well. So we have 3 generations involved, but it's not the normal passing down from generation to generation. We just sort of started one place and branched out in all directions. You got it? What color sleeve do you want to do, natural or red?
Red.
We have our own areas that we like to work with. I really like to work with the fancy, very elaborate dolls. And my daughter works with the smaller pieces, and the angels and very intricate pieces there. And my mom does a great job with flowers and the very traditional dolls.
Pam dyes the cleaned husks with about 10 different colors. As you look at the fine detail that goes into her craft, you might notice that none of her dolls have faces.
It's a Native American tradition. There are a lot of stories, but the most common version is that if you put a face on something, an evil spirit could possess it, so they left the faces off. And there are lots of different versions of the story. I like the look because then you can make the doll anyone you want it to be. I don't do commission work because then it would be more like a job. I don't want it to be something I have to do. I want it to be something I enjoy doing.
Oh, I'm having fun.
It's very relaxing for me. Well, I like to have the dolls doing things or let them depict things that a woman would do in real life. I like baskets. I like little fancy parasols and flowers and handbags. And you really have to look at the doll once she's finished and decide what fits her personality. Every doll looks a little different. You can even put an age on them, or I can when I look at them, and they look like they fit certain roles in life, and that's generally how I determine what I put in their hands.
Whereas dolls in the old days were used as toys for children, they're now primarily for display. And each year at the State Fair, collectors can find Pam's dolls for sale at the Village of Yesteryear. But a lot of preparation is needed for this event.
23 made and I need 100.
I'm thinking I have 3 made and I need about 200. I really enjoy doing these. They're fairly quick to do. I can sit at home watching TV doing them.
think I prefer the larger ones because you can be more creative with those.
Like some. Should they have any wrinkles?
No wrinkles for the sleeves. They don't bend very well.
If it's too flimsy and all, it's not going to work out as well. So I try to get some that's thicker.
We do have collectors. I'm very fortunate to have a large group of collectors that come and visit me every year. I enjoy visiting with the people. They bring pictures of their dolls and their doll collections, and it's interesting to listen to them because you don't see them very often. There are very few of us left, very few doll makers left in North Carolina, and that's why I think it's so important that we teach this to other people so that we can pass that tradition on. Each doll is very unique, and I want to make sure that when I do a doll, that it is something that people are going to cherish for many generations.